Hey guys! Welcome to Astro Tea Tuesdays, which we love a good alliteration. That's not really an alliteration, but hope everyone is well and hope everyone is doing as well as they possibly can be given the circumstances. Hi, Kathy! Hello if you're watching this live, and hello if you're watching this later on YouTube, because I do post these on later. And just thank you for joining me. Thank you for trusting my voice. Last week I talked a little bit about Mars retrograde, which was and still is a very, very intense energy. It's an energy that's really deeply rooted in us sort of figuring out what our drive and what our passions are in a time when we feel a little bit more stunted. So this week I wanted to dive in and talk about this upcoming Thursday, which I believe is the 17th. Yes, we're going to have a new moon in Virgo, and this is, it's not the most powerful transit. Like, this isn't going to be a life-changing moon to talk about, but I think it is going to have a lot of effect on our energies this week. Obviously, with every moon phase, that is kind of what happens, and so it's important to know what's going on so that we can work alongside with it. So this week, first and foremost, I want to just preface by saying that new moons are a beautiful time to plant seeds of intention, right? You know, with full moons, we're releasing, we're getting rid of, we're making space. With new moons, we're sort of sitting with our own voices and saying, okay, well, what do I want to fill up this new space with? What is it that I want to bring into the world? What I want to manifest into 3D after it's been existing in 5D? So it's a beautiful time for manifestation. So when it's in Virgo, there are a lot of themes related to Virgo that go into this manifestation energy, right? So Virgos are very much, they're earth signs. So they love things that are tangible, things that are grounded, things that they can feel and touch. So it's a beautiful time to manifest maybe some of the financial security that you want, some of the things physically that you want to fill up your environment with. It's a beautiful time to set the intention of what car you want, or what new cell phone you want, or what new art piece you want, and to make the steps towards getting that for yourself, but knowing that you are deserving of it and knowing that it's already yours. You just have to align with the timeline in which it already exists for you, which can be a little bit woo, but I have a video on aligning with your highest possible timeline, which you can also check out. But every Tuesday I pull cards, and so today's card is one that I just have to mention because hello. It is the Patience and Planning card. It's number 7, and so I think it's important to mention this card because we are in a period of being patient and planning. It is not going to serve us if we are stepping into a place where we are rushing to get to the end zone. It's simply not. So I think honoring this Virgo new moon is honoring. And I do want to, I'm sorry that I'm all over the place, but what I do want to mention before I even go into that is that I've been having a lot of visions about springtime and rabbits and that kind of stuff. So I think that there's a really beautiful, beautiful energy of like, how are we setting ourselves up right now? What steps are we taking? What foundation are we building for right now? So that in that time, in springtime, in 5 months from now, we are going to be at our biggest bloom, at our full blossom. You know what I mean? How are we going to water that plant right now and really make strong roots in the ground in order to have the most beautiful rose at that time? I really think that's what I'm being called to share. And the idea of it is also the fact that, a lot of new moons coincide with full moons. And so I believe I have it written down, February 21st is 2021's Virgo full moon. So I think it's a really beautiful idea to sort of like hold a vision of who do you want to be in February of 2021 and what steps you need to take right now to get there. So I have some journaling prompts that I'm going to share at the end of this that hopefully will serve you guys. Hi, thank you for joining. And it's a matter of really just allowing yourself to have this inner reflection and this time to say, okay, well, who do I want to be at the end of this, right? Because Virgo is very much about structure. Virgo is the time in which you got to start a new routine, where you have to get honed in on your regimen, when you have to figure out, okay, what does the best version of myself look like? And how can I practically approach it? It's not how can I emotionally approach it or how can I spiritually approach it, but how can I practically approach it? How can I start eating the foods that actually nourish my body? How can I keep my environment clean? How can I actually take the steps to do a little bit of what I know that I'm building every single day in order to get myself to a place where I feel stable in this foundation that I'm building for myself? So it's a very earthy energy. I have notes, so that's what I'm checking right now. But yeah, basically with the Virgo new moon, it's like, how can we get our ducks in a row? How can we clean up our act, not just externally, like, yes, clean up your environments, make sure that you are able to think and that you're not surrounded by clutter, but also how can you clean up internally? How can you clean up your inner dialogue? How can you recognize what is holding yourself back from your own evolution, and how can you stop feeding that energy? And and finding a new routine that resonates with you, finding what morning routine sets you up to feel the best every single day, finding out how do you end your days in a way in which you feel fulfilled and when you don't feel drained. You know, is spending an hour watching television before you go to bed, is that giving you the best rest? Is that making you feel great? Or maybe you want to change your routine where you read before bed, or maybe you want to eat dinner a little earlier. You know, it's these little practical matters that fall really deeply in line with Virgo energy that are really going to serve you in not only in feeling better, but making them long lasting, right? This is about sustainable longevity. With Mars also being in retrograde right now, it's this notion of like, how can we cultivate practices that we actually want to keep coming back to? Like, not stuff that we just like know we're going to fail at immediately because it doesn't serve us. How can we create a routine that serves us, but that we also are comfortable enough in to keep coming back to? What else do I have written down? It is not about doing more to conquer more. I think this is really, really important. I think that when we get in these spurts of motivation and when we say, okay, I want to be this mogul, this version of myself. How can I check off all of these goals on my goal list? How can I have all of these ideas and initiate them all at the same time? And that's how I become the best version of myself. It's not that. I think when we do and when we work from that energy, we burn out very easily. So I don't think conquering more necessarily means doing more. It means honing in on the few things that you know are going to really elevate you and doing those at full capacity and knowing that that's already enough. It's not about being in a state of chasing and attaining, but rather sort of like being and receiving and doing those little things, those little shifts very well and very wholeheartedly so that they can sustain the test of time. What else do I have written down? I already mentioned this, but we're working with earth energy. So what you want to focus on manifesting right now, I think, is really directly tied to this like idea of what is tangible. Like, let yourself, I think, you know, we dealt with a lot of energies that were very metaphysical. And so we've cultivated a lot of like inner growth and stuff, but allow yourself to want things that are physical. Allow yourself to want things, especially, you know, we're going into Libra season, and Libra is about beautifying your environment and finding the beauty in pretty things. So like, let yourself have some pretty things and manifest whatever it is that's tangible for you right now. But also remember that we're in a planning and patient period. So know that even if it doesn't come right away, it's going to come exactly when it's on time. It'll arrive exactly on time. Yes, and also know that there is an opportunity here for evolution. It's really important to know that we are in a space where we are really having a DNA upgrade. That's just it. We are really evolving, and so it's a matter of recognizing what is holding me back from my own personal evolution. That is one of the journaling prompts. I guess I'll already share the journaling prompts, but one question that I really want you to allow yourself to be honest when you answer it with you is, what am I doing to hold myself back from my own personal evolution? And you know it. We all have things that we do. We all have habits. We all have routines. We all have tendencies that are just not feeding and nourishing this version of us that we want to step into. So let it go. What is no longer feeding you? What is no longer nourishing you? How can you be honest enough with yourself to recognize it so that you can eradicate it and remove it and step into a place of fluidity and alignment? Another journaling prompt that I had is, who do I want to be 5 months from now, and how can I start walking towards them? Which I think is also in alignment with the last journaling prompt, but it's this idea that, you know, the Virgo full moon is going to be here on February the 21st. So it's like, you know, if we know that these two times are going to coincide, how can I make sure that when I arrive at that time, I am who I want to be, and I have my businesses set up the way that I want them to be set up, and I have my health exactly where I want it to be, and I have my relationship where I want it to be, external relationships, but also maybe I want my own relationship with myself to be in a better place. I want to have better inner dialogue. You know, how can you recognize how can you hold the vision of who you want to be and how you want life to look like in February, and how can you already start taking the steps towards building that for yourself? And the last prompt is, how can I take better care of myself? And this is directly alignment with Virgo energy, because Virgo energy is very much about nourishing the body and cultivating a healthy routine, a healthy diet, a healthy regimen. So how can I take the best possible care of this vessel, but also how can I take care of me inwardly? How can I make sure that I'm being kind to myself? How can I make sure that I'm resting when I need to rest, and that I'm also honoring my work when I need to be honoring my work? How can I make sure that I'm fulfilling my soul's purpose, that I'm nurturing my emotional state? And know that all of those are equal. You need to make sure you're taking care of your inner child just as much as you need to make sure that you're taking care of your higher self or your shadow self. All of it serves a greater purpose, so make sure that all the layers of you are being cared for and nourished and moisturized and fed and hydrated. And what else? Yeah, I said this already, but I really want to reiterate this notion that I've had a lot of visions of springtime. I'm seeing it a lot, and I think we're going to be all collectively in a much better place in springtime. And I think personally, a lot of the seeds that we're planting right now are going to be in full bloom in springtime. So honor the journey, honor the time over. You know, the ride, the journey is just as important as the destination, as the arrival. So honor this patience and planning period. Don't rush anything that is not fully blossomed. And know that everything is working in alignment with divine timing. So how can you work alongside divine timing? How can you co-create a life that you love while living a life that you love? That's an affirmation that I would encourage everyone. I would encourage everyone to work with right now is I am building a life I love while living a life that I love. And that's what the Virgo new moon is all about. It's really like, how can I plant seeds of intention and see them fully for myself, right? Because visions and dreams are going to remain visions and dreams unless you have the belief that they are yours and the belief that they are going to come into fruition for you. But after you hold them for yourself, it's like, okay, how can I know that that exists for me? And then in the meantime, how can I just take steps towards it and enjoy the time in between, enjoy the periods in between, enjoy the steps that I'm going to take towards it, and be kind to yourself, and know that we are uprooting a lot, know that we are building beautiful lives for ourselves, and that's going to take, Rome wasn't built in a day. Is that what the saying is? I'm not sure. But like, if you're building something that's worth, the light went out. If you're building, sorry, I don't know if it's still there. But yeah, if you're building something that's worth sustaining, how can you take the best possible care of it? So that is essentially what I felt called to share about this Virgo new moon. There's a ton of new moon rituals that you can do. You can, if you have a new moon journal, which I do, and I'm going to write in that tonight actually, or no, Thursday night. Write down your intentions, maybe make a vision board, a physical vision board. You can also do a virtual vision board on Pinterest. You can also reach out to me if you want more details on how this will directly affect you with your astrological chart. But otherwise, yeah, it's a beautiful energy. Work with it. The planets are always working for you, never against you. Whatever is coming up right now is meant to be come up so that you can heal it and release it. And yeah, know that all is well. Everything is working out exactly as it's meant to. Honor the ebb and flow. Honor divine timing. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. You can check me out on my Instagram at Jasmine Kylene to find out more stuff like this, more conscious media, more astrological updates. I also have a newsletter that you can join in my bio or in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And I also have a line of color healing shirts that is now out, so you can check those out as well. And otherwise, I hope that you are doing the best you possibly can and are taking the best possible care of yourself. And yeah. Bye.